guys. I'm really excited to teach you guys how to roast veggies perfectly. This is a very, very important skill. We are going to cover it all. We're going to talk about the temperatures to roast vegetables at. We're going to talk about how to make sure they're not soggy, how to make them taste good, and of course, you know, different times for different vegetables and all that stuff, so that it's all just in your brain. You never have to Google it ever again. I'm Talia, if we've met before. I am doing this every night. Joining you for 20 minutes every evening at 7 o'clock to do another cooking video lesson. So thanks for joining me. And I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Tell me in the comments. I'm in Queens and I have not left my house today. Let me show you what I have going on here. Tonight we have carrots, broccoli, potatoes, bell peppers, garlic, and a little bit of onion left over. And the oven is preheated to 400 degrees. These were frozen prior to, today. Something I want to point out is the size of the veggies. The smaller they are, the faster they will roast, right? So look at my carrots. Generally, carrots take a very long time to cook, but because they're small, they're gonna cook pretty quickly. Same with the potatoes. I chop them up pretty small so they'll cook faster. Broccoli, same deal. Peppers, same deal. Let's talk about mistakes people make when they roast vegetables or cook vegetables in general. I think the biggest mistake is overcooking vegetables. That is what makes them soggy. The texture kind of gets weird. Tell me what mistakes you've made in the comments in terms of cooking vegetables. I know for me, I've made every mistake in the book. I've undercooked vegetables, overcooked them, not enough salt. Using sauce, you definitely don't want to use sauce when you are roasting vegetables. Huge mistake. Another mistake I made is using a baking dish. If you want crispy vegetables, don't use a glass baking dish. I wish I had known that, when I first started cooking. Today we are going to use a baking sheet. I have two of these. They are half size baking sheets. The brand is Nordic Ware. That's the brand, Nordic Ware. And I've had these for 2 years. You can tell the bottoms are pretty worn. Pretty clean up here. But that's what we're gonna bake them on. That's how you get them to be crispy. You need a baking sheet. Definitely recommend this if you don't have one already. Let's get rolling over here. So for this type of cooking, I like to just season everything with oil, salt, and maybe pepper. Honestly, you don't need more than that. You can absolutely use different spices, but you don't have to. Oil and salt will bring out the natural flavors in vegetables, making them taste amazing. I generally stick to 1 tablespoon when I'm cooking vegetables, but this isn't a ton, so I'm just gonna add a little bit. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they are roasting vegetables is adding too much oil. Too much oil will make it soggy, and we do not want that. Let's talk about salt. So I'm using salt from my salt pig. It is this ceramic container full of salt. It's coarse. I use it for everything. I just put my fingers in there, season it up. I tend to over salt my vegetables, so we're not going to do that. Pepper is optional, but I like pepper. And that is basically all we're doing for these vegetables, guys. It doesn't really take much. We don't need to be fancy with them. Vegetables taste good naturally, and by roasting them, the sugars in the vegetables start to caramelize and taste incredible. That is why roasting them is really the best way to go when you're cooking vegetables. Not boiling, not really sauteing, roasting. So once they're tossed like this, I'm gonna reuse this bowl for every single ingredient we have because there's no reason to create extra dishes, especially since we're using similar seasoning for everything. Let's put these on our sheet pan. So here's a sheet pan, just go right on. Now, another really important tip is to make sure that you give your vegetables a lot of space. We're all practicing social distancing right now. Vegetables have to practice social distancing too, because if they're all piled up together like this, they're gonna steam and not get crispy. And if you want those crispy edges, you want to spread them out as much as you can, which is why having 2 sheet pans really helps with the situation. So these are gonna go in pasta. We're having pasta for dinner tonight, and I'm not really too worried about the crispiness of them. Like, this is probably gonna be good enough. Another tip is that you want the vegetables to be on a flat side, not on a curved side like this guy. A flat side is gonna be better for your vegetables. A better cooking surface, it's gonna cook more evenly. So that's the potatoes, and you can see they're all covered in oil pretty well. I'm gonna get those in the oven in a sec. Let's talk about broccoli. Broccoli is similar in that we're just gonna use salt and pepper, nothing fancy, and a little bit of olive oil. Just a little bit of olive oil in here because there isn't a lot. And this was frozen. It's gonna crisp up really well. And I'm gonna use a little more oil than that. Okay, and we're gonna use some salt and some pepper. You could add garlic, you could add onion powder maybe. We're just keeping it really simple because this is gonna go in pasta and we don't want to flavor it up too much. Okay, if that's even a thing. Same deal here. You want to spread out the broccoli, otherwise it'll just steam. So what else? We want to do the peppers as well. I really like roasted peppers. Probably my favorite way to eat peppers. These were also frozen from the other night. So we're gonna do the same thing. Same deal. These are a little bit soggy now because they've been defrosting, but they'll be fine. We're roasting them. They're meant to be a little soft. That's gonna be a-okay. Same deal, oil and a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. You don't want to salt the vegetables like long before you cook because that'll actually draw more water out of them. Just going to toss gently because they're kind of wet, but it's fine. We're gonna roast them and it'll be all good. Okay, back to our sheet pan. Everything on. So one of the things I learned in cooking school, or cooking classes that blew my mind, is that cooking is basically just taking water out of ingredients. That is all cooking actually is. And when you think about it, it makes perfect sense. We are using heat to remove the water and kind of caramelize everything that all the natural sugars in vegetables. And that kind of blew my mind, but it makes so much sense when you think about it. That's gonna go in the oven. So because I'm making dinner and I'm using sheet pans, I'm also going to throw this chicken sausage on the potato pan because we're making dinner. We're gonna use chicken sausage that was also in the freezer, and we're just gonna roast everything together. It should be okay. It's not an ideal sheet pan situation right now. It's a little bit too crowded, but you know what? I have other smaller sheet pans that I can use for this. But this is an easy dinner to do over pasta or greens. We're a huge fan of Adele's chicken sausage. That's what we're using. It freezes well. Let me just put these in the oven. Okay, so we're roasting at 400 degrees, and that is pretty much a temperature that you can roast anything at. Obviously, for vegetables, I mean. So you could roast sweet potatoes at that temperature, you could roast asparagus at that temperature. That 400 degrees is gonna be great for anything. Root vegetables like the potatoes and carrots are always gonna take a little bit longer than the lighter, leafier vegetables like broccoli, peppers, asparagus. Eggplant takes a long time. What else? Cauliflower could take a long time. And the more caramelization, the better. You'll smell it if you're gonna burn the vegetables. It's kind of hard to ignore that smell. So I would say you wanna check on your vegetables at 20 minutes. The smaller ones like the pepper and broccoli can come out at 20 minutes, and the potatoes and carrots can be flipped. I did not oil the pan. You can oil the vegetables, not the pan. Another thing to remember is that you wanna get your vegetables cooking on the middle rack. Right now I have something in the middle rack and on the top rack, and that's gonna be okay, but generally middle is great. So for the carrots, we're gonna do the same thing, just oil. They're gonna take a little bit longer to cook. And since they're cut pretty small, they won't take that long. This is like, you know, riskier because what if you add too much oil? And then the rest of our chicken sausage will go on here too. Carrots, again, there's a lot of different ways you can chop them. There's a lot of different ways you can roast them up. You can sweeten them a little bit with like cinnamon and maybe some brown sugar, but carrots are naturally sweet. You don't have to do much. I don't like to open the oven too much, but that's what's happening right now with the broccoli and pepper on top, potatoes in the middle, carrots on the bottom. So I also have this head of garlic. One of my favorite things to do while the oven's on and while you're just chilling out is roast some garlic. So you can roast a whole head like this, and you can use it you can keep it in your fridge for sauces, dressings, see any kind of like marinade. Roasted garlic is bomb. So I cut off the top of a whole head, right? And so I'm gonna fill it with, I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the garlic. This is olive oil that my aunt produces in Israel, by the way. I'm almost out, which is a bummer. Means I have to go back. All you gotta do is wrap it up in foil, pop it in the oven carefully, and this will take about 30 to 40 minutes to roast. And you will smell it. You will know when it's ready. You can go very far with flavor with just olive oil, salt, and pepper. You do not need to do a lot to vegetables. You want to bring out their natural flavors. 400 Fahrenheit is the best temperature to cook vegetables at. Give them space on the sheet pan. Don't use a baking dish, use a sheet pan. And lighter vegetables will cook for 20 minutes. Root veggies will cook closer to 40, and they can be flipped halfway. And that's about it, guys. I mean, that is cooking veggies in a nutshell. We're at our 20-minute mark. So what I'm gonna do is show the final product. Tune in every night at 7 o'clock. I'm teaching something different every night. Thanks for being here. And if there's anything you wanna see, just DM me. I'm open to suggestions for what you wanna learn. And I will see you tomorrow night, same time, same place. Bye.